Okay, welcome guys to my video on pure lockdowns in NBA 2K21, build video on them. So I'm going to cover both a pure lockdown that's better to play at the 2, this is as in the 2 in threes. It will also be able to play at the 3, but it is more of a small forward than it is a centre, and then a build that would play the role of a centre but is a power forward rather than a centre for bad reasons. So we'll start off with the first pure lockdown build, so small forward, left or right hand, it doesn't matter, whatever number you want. So obviously the pure defensive pie chart, because we're going for a pure lock, and then the physical pie chart, it's up to you what physical pie chart you pick, but I like picking the balanced physical pie chart on my lock, on pure lock builds, because vertical is important for rebounding, you want to be quite quick, and then strengths are quite important if you're defending centres on the build. So yeah, that's why I picked that. The way we're going to upgrade it, very simple, max everything on defending, max everything on shooting, knock the post fade down to 60 so that you still get the 5 shooting, and then finishing, just put the rest of the points in finishing, and you get 9 finishing, 5 shooting, 1 playmaking, 30 defending. It's good, and something you will notice is the fact that if you make the build at power forward, you do get more badge points. You get 10 finishing and you get 6 shooting, and I'm going to show you that for the centre style version of the build. However, if you do want to make this build at power forward at the same height, then the stats will be the exact same. However, the only reason I'd suggest making it as a small forward rather than a power forward is for perimeter lockdown takeover. You won't get lock take if you make it a power forward, you get rim protecting. If you're not bothered by that, and you'll happily play with rim protecting takeover, then just make this first build at power forward. Don't even bother making it a small forward if you're happy with rim protecting takeover. But if you want lock take, you kind of have to settle for this. Although 9 finishing, 5 shooting is still really good, this build is still going to be like a meta build, I reckon. Whatever body shape you like, it doesn't matter. 6'7" or 6'8", both these would be good for the 2. I mean, either way, you're probably going to use this build as a centre on 2s as well. However, if you know you're going to be using it predominantly for 3s at the 2, and for most of the time you're not going to be guarding centres, I'd say just make it 6'7". It's the perfect height. The rebounding isn't crazy, I get that, but it's still good. The perimeter defending is ridiculous, all in the 90s. The interior defense is still high enough to be able to do well enough to guard those centres as well, with your block rating being quite decent as well. If you want to be able to defend centres a bit better, then obviously just stick him up to 6'8", but don't put him to 6'9", because that's going to be the next build I'm going to show you. So yeah, we're gonna stick with 6'7" anyway. The weight, okay, so the weight does affect finishing, although it doesn't seem to affect the driving dunk on this build if you put the weight all the way up. All it seems to really affect is the speed. 77 speed isn't too bad, it kind of depends on what you want to do with this build. I mean, this is another way of making the build good for defending both at the 2 and the 3, because the interior defense goes up a whole ton while the perimeter defense literally remains the same, and the speed does take a bit of a hit, but 77 speed is still quite good, although driving lap does take a bit of a hit. So the weight, there's a range of weights. I mean, if you know you're going to guard pretty much just guards, you can do that. You can go to a lot lower of a weight, but I'd say anywhere from the default weight to one of the higher weights is good for this build. I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle. It doesn't really matter too much for this build, because it doesn't affect things too massively other than the interior defense and the speed. It's basically based on what you want the build to do. Wingspan, we're going max because it's a pure lockdown, so it's kind of self-explanatory, it's what you'd expect. It makes the defensive stats a lot better, especially the block and the rebounding, as you can see. The shooting goes down a bit, but it's fine, and the driving dunk goes up. You're going to be able to get contact dunks on this build like the last 2, which in my opinion is a bit OP, but it's going to make the build sick. And again, from the physicals, really well-rounded physical stats in my opinion, which is why I think that physical pie chart is so good for pure locks. And then the options, lockdown take and glass take. I wouldn't say, if you're making this build, you pick lock take. Glass take makes more sense for the next build I'm going to show you. I'm not sure what this build is named, it doesn't really matter too much. It's probably a two-way finisher or something along the lines of that. I'm not going to go to the next screen where it shows me the name of it because I don't want to use a slot up on my demo, just because I have to keep making accounts. But we're going to go back here and have a look at the second pure lock build in the game, which if I'm going to make a pure lock, I'm going to make this one I'm about to show you rather than the one I've just showed you, even though it's pretty much the same, just because of the extra badges. So power forward rather than small forward, pure lock again. Again, the same physical pie chart. We're pretty much making this in the exact same way. The builds are pretty much identical. Again, as I said, you get 6 shooting, not 5. For some reason, I don't know why they've done that, but they offer you an extra shooting badge point. The defending stats are literally, like, the attributes are pretty much identical. It's just they give you more badges for some reason in finishing and shooting if you make him a power forward. Look, there you go, 10 finishing, 6 shooting, 1 playmaking, 30 defending. You're getting 2 more badge points overall, and the stats are the exact same. So again, body type doesn't matter. So here, if you want to make the build we just made, just at power forward, so you get rim take, that's great, you can do that, that's fine. And it will be slightly better at perimeter defending. But if you know you're playing as the centre all the time with this build, I'd say make him 6'9". People like going above 6'9", and they're scared that it's going to be too short, but I mean, just go back and go to Joe Nosey's channel and watch his Bill Russell build, which is a 6'9" pure defensive paint beast. It is probably the best defensive build, well, it probably was the best defensive build in the game in 2K20, especially for guarding big men. It was ridiculous. And the cut-off point for jump shot speeds, in terms of like avoiding big men jump shot speeds, in 2K20 was at 6'9". So if you made a build 6'10" or higher, you had slower jump shot speeds than players that were 6'9" and lower. So at this height, you do get faster jump shot speeds than at this height. So that's another reason why I recommend making it 6'9". And again, as you'll see, if you make it 6'10", you lose the ability to get those contact dunks. I mean, right now it's only 83, but we're going to make the builds you get 85 drive and dunk. So yeah, if you're going to make it to play at centre, I say 6'9", especially because you still want that speed and everything as well. I think it's just pretty much the perfect height if you're going to play at the 3. If you're going to play at the 2, a bit of the 2 and the 3, you might want to make it one of these heights. But yeah, so that's the height. The weight we're going for, so you don't want to put it at max, because that you're going to, even though like that'd be great because the interior defense, the strength and everything, although it does make the build a lot slower, which kind of puts me off of going towards a really high weight anyway. You want to be able to get that 85 drive and dunk on offense, and even like a mid-80s interior defense is going to be perfectly fine on this build. You're still going to clamp with that. So let's try and work this out. So maximum wingspan, that gets you an 86 drive and dunk. So we can go down as far up this as you want until it gets an 81 drive and dunk. So you can go here if you want. You can make it a bit lighter if you're not too bothered about having a really high interior defense stat, and if you want to be a bit quicker. But you can, oh, that gives us an 84 drive and dunk, okay. Is that an 85? There we go. So, it's actually not that heavy, but, and yeah, the physical stats aren't as good, but this is like going to be a crazy build to play at centre with as a pure lock, and you're playing basically as a centre. And then, as I said, the glass cleaning and rim protector takeover. If you want glass cleaning takeover, that's still a good option in this build if you're playing pretty much just centre with it, but I'd pick rim protecting. You should be able to get boards without glass take anyway, and rim protector, again, it's a defensive takeover. So yeah, that's my video on pure lockdowns. At other positions, I haven't looked too much at other positions like point guard, shooting guard, and centre, but I'm pretty sure none of them get 6 shooting badge points like the power forward position for pure locks. So if you're looking to get as much shooting out of a pure lock build as possible, I'd suggest going with the power forward position. And if you are worried that they won't be able to shoot, there's a chance that that's the case, obviously. And again, it calls this build a paint beast if you make it 6'9" at power forward as well. But in 2K20, a lot of the comp pure locks that weren't legends, all they ran was silver hot zone and silver quick draw, or sometimes like no quick draw, but it was a bit hard to get your shot off then. But because of the fact quick draw don't exist, and I mean, and not just that, in 2K20, pure locks only had 4 shooting badge points, and you'd spend half of those on quick draw. This year there isn't quick draw. Like, you don't have to spend those 2 points on that, and you get more. So you can go with like silver hot zone, silver corner, silver catch, and from the corner, especially off dimer, Like, I can't see why you shouldn't be able to green without a meter or with aiming with this build. Like, I'm almost certain that once you get your hot zones, shooting on this build from the corner, mid-range will be really easy. Shoot from the corner, I'm almost certain you'll be able to do it. And this build will literally be meta, it'll be AIDS to play against. And yeah, pure locks are going to be OP once again, as they are pretty much every year, which is a bit frustrating, but what can you do? So yeah, that's my video on pure lockdowns. My next video is going to be on the finishing and defending Paint Beast build that was in the game last year. Very similar to this, the second build from this video, just slightly more offensively like tuned, if you want to put it that way. Anyway.